today we'll be discussing 5 innovative ways to raise the education rate in Africa. Well, what exactly is the education rate? Take a look.
Africa has one of the highest education exclusion rates. With that being said, educators and citizens alike are combining their efforts to redefine the education system in Africa. One of the main contributing factors to the low education rate is the lack of proper facilities and educators. For example, in the city of Bodinga, located in the northwestern town of Nigeria, you will typically find no more than 50 students all jammed into one small classroom. If available, only a few textbooks will be provided. According to Brookings Education, a recent study found that nearly 80% of the students couldn't read a single word, and only a handful of the students are expected to make it through secondary education.
So how exactly can this be changed? Well, a recent study has highlighted 5 innovative ways to raise the education rate in Africa. 1. Change the definition of a classroom.
Beyond structured classrooms, knowledge can be acquired during conference-style seminars, community-based meetings, or even during group sports events, none of which include a typical teacher and school desk setting. Other flexible learning pathways, such as online programs and virtual certification processes, could allow candidates to demonstrate the acquisition of a skill set to higher learning institutions and employers, according to the World Bank report.
2. Learn from what's working and scale those interventions.
While no single innovation is ever a silver bullet, according to delegates, sharing knowledge about what's working and scaling successful interventions could accelerate improvements in learning. For example, Charles Yeboah, director of the International Community School of Ghana, suggested that public schools could learn from what's working in private school settings, where there is typically more funding for robust monitoring and evaluation processes. That could allow for better knowledge sharing, supported by donors, on new trends in education, new research, and new ways that kids are learning.
3. Shake up financing models.
Most experts agree that domestic resource mobilization must be the primary funding source for national education systems. However, public-private partnerships and innovative financing models, such as pension funds and pooled funds, could help fill gaps. Over the past decade, aid funding for education has declined to less than 10% of global official development assistance, leaving much of the financing to national governments strained by conflicting priorities. The Education Commission estimates that international financing for education will need to increase from the current level of $12 billion per year to $89 billion per year by the year 2030 to adequately cover education costs in low-income countries.
4. Find a balanced way to introduce technology.
The introduction of technology to the classroom offers vast opportunities to enhance learning and improve data collection to drive down costs for programs. However, to fully harness its capabilities, investments in digital infrastructure and measurements to expand teacher competencies must accompany educational tech. While some argue that an overdependence on technology could produce adverse effects, stifling the communication and critical thinking skills of students, others say that introducing technology at a young age better prepares students for a digital world and makes them more competitive in today's job market.
And 5. Get local support.
According to Joe Besford, director of Green Shoots, a South African ICT-based math program, to innovate in the education system, one must be thinking of innovation through collaboration and be prepared to listen, because innovations take time and you have to be willing to take the journey with the community you serve.
Well, this concludes our program. Join us next time as we dive into health education. I'm Deasia Robinson, and this has been Curating Culture.
You've just watched Curating Culture, where the magic of discovery happens. Tune in for more next week.